Welcome, dear listeners, to another of our disturbing tales. The Witch of Snods Edge. The year was 1623. Derwent Valley, a tranquil expanse of undulating greens, serpentine streams and historical hamlets, held a secret. An enigmatic tale that intertwined with the heartbeats of two of its hamlets, Muggleswick and Snods Edge. These lands, steeped in tales of folklore and bound by an unspoken code of superstition, were about to become the stage for a chilling narrative. Agatha, a woman of indeterminate age with cascading silver hair and hands that bore the intricate map of time, was a living legacy of the valley's ancient customs. Snods Edge, where she was born, cradled her cottage on a hillock that afforded a panoramic view of the sprawling Derwent Valley. Ivy tendrils embraced her abode, and the aroma of myriad herbs mingled with the crisp valley air, declaring to every visitor the essence of her life. She was not just an inhabitant, she was a healer, a guardian of age-old herbal knowledge. On an evening that seemed no different from any other, with the sun casting golden brushstrokes across the twilight sky, Agatha's ritual of grinding dried nettle leaves was interrupted. A hurried knock echoed through her cottage, revealing Mildred, a distraught woman from Muggleswick. Her blue eyes, usually serene, were pools of turbulent worry. "Agatha," Mildred's voice trembled. "The livestock in Muggleswick, they're perishing in ways we've never seen. Some mouths whisper of a curse." With a nod, Agatha followed Mildred. Muggleswick, though close, felt worlds apart that evening. The once cheerful farms now hosted a macabre scene. Lifeless cattle lay strewn across the fields, their eyes reflecting the bewildering darkness of their end. The situation darkened with the waning moon. From livestock, the curse, or whatever it was, turned its gaze to the children. Whispers of ailing young ones filled the air, turning the once harmonious hamlets into breeding grounds of suspicion. As fear wormed its way into every heart, rumors like tendrils snaked through every hearth and home. "Have you seen the mark on Tom's calf? The witch's mark, they say. Wasn't Agatha by the brook the night young Emma took ill?" Such murmurs, initially faint, grew louder and took form. One fateful evening, Agatha's solitude was shattered by the ominous rhythm of approaching footsteps. Before she could comprehend the situation, an enraged mob, led by Constable Harrick, had surrounded her cottage. "Agatha of Snods Edge," Harrick's voice thundered, casting shadows darker than the night. "You stand accused of practicing the dark arts, of casting shadows over our lands, our beasts, and our kin. The council shall decide your fate." As Agatha pleaded her innocence, the mob's determination only intensified. They descended upon her cottage with fiery torches that painted grotesque shadows on the ivy-covered walls. Two burly men grabbed Agatha by her frail arms, their grips bruisingly tight, tearing her away from the sanctuary she had known all her life. Her pleas and screams fell on deaf ears, drowned out by the cacophony of the mob's accusatory chants. They threw her into a cell in the depths of Muggleswick, a place where sunlight's warmth never reached. The cell was a pit of despair. Its damp stone walls oozed with moisture, and the stench of decay clung to every crevice. Rats scurried in the shadows, and the only sound apart from their sinister squeaking was the slow, incessant drip of water from the ceiling. Huddled in a corner, Agatha's mind raced. Is this how my life's dedication is repaid? To be imprisoned, forsaken, betrayed by those I've known and cared for. The weight of loneliness bore down on her, and amidst the stinking darkness, Agatha clung to her memories, the only light in that forsaken place. The day of the trial dawned dark and overcast, as if the heavens themselves wept at the injustice about to unfold. The entire hamlet of Muggleswick turned out, their faces etched with a mixture of fear, curiosity, and bloodlust. The council's chamber was transformed into a makeshift courtroom, where whispers of apprehension filled the air like a thick fog. Agatha, her spirit diminished but unbroken, was led into the room, her wrists bound in rough, chafing ropes. She looked around, searching for a familiar face, a glimmer of support, but all she met were eyes filled with condemnation and fear. Even the children, who once ran to her for sweets and stories, now shrank back, their innocent eyes shadowed by the rumors they'd heard. The council, comprising of the oldest and most respected members of Muggleswick, sat atop an elevated platform. Councillor Hargrove, The eldest among them, with a severe disposition, spoke first. "Agatha of Snods Edge, you stand accused of dark sorcery, a plague upon our land's livestock and kin. How do you plead?" "I am innocent." Agatha's voice, though firm, betrayed a hint of weariness. "I have lived my life healing, not harming." The trial was a charade. Witnesses, fueled by fear or personal vendettas, recounted half-truths and complete fabrications. A farmer spoke of a dead hare found near his land, with the same mark as his deceased cattle, insinuating Agatha's involvement. Another, a young woman, told tales of strange nighttime rituals and dances she claimed to have seen Agatha participate in. But the most damning testimony came from Eleanor. She recounted that fateful night by the river, her words painting Agatha as a harbinger of doom. As Eleanor spoke, the chamber's atmosphere grew thicker, the air more stifling. Agatha listened, disbelief evident in her eyes. When prompted to speak, she looked straight at Eleanor. "I remember nights when you came to me, desperate, seeking remedies for your ailing mother. Was that witchcraft too?" Eleanor, with tears streaming down her face, whispered, "I had to. They threatened my kin." Before Agatha could respond, the chamber erupted in chaos. Voices clamoured for a verdict. The council, after a brief deliberation that seemed more for show than genuine consideration, delivered their judgment. "Agatha of Snods Edge," Hargrove's voice boomed, echoing the sentiments of the mob outside. "You are hereby declared guilty of witchcraft and sentenced to burn at the stake come dawn." That night, as Agatha sat in her damp cell, a soft melody wafted through the barred window. It was the ancient song of the Derwent Valley, sung by the elders during times of great sorrow. Agatha, drawing strength from the song, braced herself for the morrow. Dawn's light was crimson, a harbinger of the fire to come. As Agatha was tied to the stake, the first flames licking at her feet, a great wind swept across the valley. The flames hesitated, the crowd gasped, and for a moment time stood still. And then, as the wind carried away her final haunting scream, the Derwent Valley bore silent witness to a travesty that would taint its history forever. The aftermath. In the wake of Agatha's horrific end, a shroud of unease enveloped the Derwent Valley. The whispering winds seemed to carry her last agonized scream, a reminder of the community's grave injustice. The problems that once plagued Muggleswick, the very reasons Agatha was blamed, intensified. Crops withered, livestock met even graver fates, and the children's illnesses became more frequent, severe, and inexplicable. The heavy air of guilt choked the hamlets, turning neighbour against neighbour, friend against friend. Whispers of Agatha's innocence began to seep through cracks in the once unified front against her. What if she was not the cause? Have we angered the spirits by our actions? Such were the murmurs that began to echo in the cobblestone streets and wooden taverns. Eleanor, whose betrayal had sealed Agatha's doom, was the most tormented of all. Night after sleepless night, she'd wake up drenched in sweat, haunted by the vision of Agatha's eyes, filled with hurt, confusion, and an agonizing depth of betrayal. Sleep brought no respite, for her dreams were plagued by those very same eyes, questioning, condemning, but also pitying. One especially cold and foggy night, Eleanor, driven to the brink by her visions and guilt, left her home. Drawn into the fog as if by some unseen force, she wandered the familiar paths, now made alien and foreboding by the dense mist. The lamenting cries and phantom moans seemed to guide her, leading her deeper into the heart of the valley. Suddenly, in a clearing, she encountered the apparition of Agatha. The spectral flames that enveloped Agatha cast an otherworldly glow, turning the fog around her into a haunting dance of shadows. Their eyes met, and the world seemed to fade away. Agatha's gaze bore no malice, only profound sadness. Extending a burning hand towards Eleanor, the apparition beckoned. Eleanor, trapped in a trance of guilt and longing, hesitated for what seemed like an eternity. Then, taking a shaky step forward, she reached out. As the first light of dawn began to pierce the fog, the village of Muggleswick was awoken by a bone-chilling scream. A search party was quickly formed, scouring every inch of the valley in desperate hope. After hours of searching, at the bottom of a narrow ravine, they found Eleanor's lifeless body. The ground around her was undisturbed, as though she had simply walked off the edge. There were no signs of struggle, only an expression of sheer sadness etched on her face. The Derwent Valley, with its beauty and secrets, would forever bear the weight of the stories of its past. So, dear listeners, let this tale be a somber reminder of the profound consequences that arise from actions taken in fear and ignorance. The Derwent Valley, with its picturesque beauty, also holds deep scars of its past. As you tread its paths, be wary of the fog that may descend on moonless nights, for within its embrace lie tales of sorrow and lament. Heed the whispers of the wind and the cries that echo through the valley, for they tell of a history best not forgotten. Remember Agatha, remember Eleanor, and let their stories serve as a cautionary tale, to always seek truth and understanding, lest you too find yourself lost in the mists of regret. If you enjoyed our short story, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another chilling story again.